What's up guys, back at the workshop, back on the green Golf. It's been a couple of days since we last worked on this one, but off camera here you can see I finished up the welding and gave it a bit of a grind down, smooth it out. So now I'm going to go ahead with doing the filler work and then just block it out, get it nice and flat and looking good and ready for primer. As you know from previous videos, the engine bay is all smoothed out and body filler's been done there. So that's waiting on primer. So I just want to sort out the primer work here. So basically it's just across the weld here, down this section here. I've already put some seam sealer in there, and then seam seal down here, and then ground away the welds here, and then just smooth over this section here where we ran the weld down here. There was some dents in the panel over here when we fitted it, so I've just given that a quick run over with the grinder. And then on the inside here, I've just ground down the welds all along here up to the top and then in there as well. So yeah, I ran a flap wheel over it to get it nice and smooth and ready to take the filler. So here we'll just skim over very lightly with filler, and then that way it still kind of keeps the spot weld marks, so it looks very OEM. And then obviously we'll just run around this edge as well, smooth all this out. And once that's all done, we can get some primer on this thing. So yeah, that's the plan of action. And then the other thing that we need to do is a little bit of rust over here, so that needs to get tackled. And there's a replacement door. Actually, you can see there, got a replacement door in the back of the car to go on over here, because this one's bent quite nicely on the inside. Obviously when this car went over, the driver shoulder charged it, so that's what broke the window. And then there's also a little bit of rust over there, so that looks very much surface. So once the filler work's done there, I want to pop the windscreens. As you can see in the workshop, it actually picks up quite a bit of dust, so I've been putting off taking the windows out for quite a while because I don't want that dust going all through the car. Not that the interior in the car is exceptionally clean to start with, but anyway. So yeah, then once this section's done, I want to tackle those two rust spots. And then I did mention earlier I need to still get the PDR guy out to sort out these little dents in the roof. I don't really want to put filler on the roof. And also, like in one or two spots, it's a little bit the metal's a little bit stretched. So the moment you put filler on, then the metal just dents and pops and dents and pops the whole time, because it's stretched. So if we get the PDR guy, he can kind of like massage it more or less back into shape, so it doesn't do that whole popping thing the whole time. So yeah, if we can get that right, then it'll hold its shape. Whereas if we do filler on it now, the slightest touch and it pops in, then you've got to pop it out, and I don't really want that happening once the car's painted. So I think the best bet is just to get him to come out and do the PDR stuff, and then we can flat the roof down and paint it, and that's done. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to pop you guys on time lapse now, and then we'll get the filler work knocked out here and go from there. Hey guys, I know this is in the middle of a video, but last you saw I was busy sanding out the left rear fender on this car and getting it ready for primer. Unfortunately, since then I was involved in a motor vehicle accident, and it has actually been almost 4 months since I last touched this car. So I've obviously been away from work, recouping and the rest of it. But anyway, so I'm kind of been, well, I've got to see the doctor next week, but I'm hoping that they're going to give me the go-ahead to start walking again, because I've been on crutches and in a wheelchair and whatnot in the interim. So yeah, for the moment I'm still on these things, but back at work trying to get what little I can do done. So I'm trying to do the light duty stuff. So what I've got in mind for this car now is some primer in the engine bay there. The sooner I can prime out the engine bay, I can spray colour, and then I can get the boys in on the Saturday or so to give me a hand and get the engine and gearbox back in this car. The other problem is, obviously, with me being off my feet, I can't move the car. So the plan was to prime out everything originally. Obviously this car accident has put a spanner in the works. So like I say, I'm going to go ahead now, prime out the engine bay, and then let that dry. Once that dries, spray colour on the engine bay and the nose panel. So that's all done. Once everything's green again, we get the engine back in, and then at least that way the car can drive. Then the car can be moved around while we carry on with the exterior bodywork stuff. Obviously also I took the dash apart because I couldn't get the speedo cable out the gearbox. Obviously with the gearbox sitting outside the car now, I can tackle that and get that bolt loose because it was a bit stripped. So yeah, then basically the interior and the engine bay can be assembled, and then the car is drivable, so we're going to turn it around and then get all the rest of the bodywork prepped out for the spray booth. Again, I was going to paint it at the booth. We'll probably just get the guys down at the panel shop to, I bought all the materials and everything. I'll probably just get them to paint it, because at this point I won't be able to walk around the car in the booth and actually physically paint it. So yeah, a bit of a change of plan, but anyway, you know, it's the way the cookie crumbles, we've got to roll with the punches. So yeah, anyway, so now, like I said, primer on this one, so everything here is prepped. I don't really need to mask up anything more than a couple of odds and sods in the engine bay. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit that with primer now, and we'll carry on from there. Okay guys, so the primer is sprayed on there. I'm just going to shoot it with some guide coat, so when I flat it down, you can obviously see where the high spots and low spots are, and if we need to do any microfine filler in any cracks or anything thereafter, or any pinholes that I've missed, because obviously it's quite a dark area to work in, so you obviously want it looking as nice as possible. Obviously down the side by the suspension, where that hole is over there, that's all covered by the motor. So if there's a pinhole down there, we're not going to stress too much about it. But obviously up this top section where the airbox goes, over here, you know, anything on the top here, that's all visible. So we want that to be as neat as possible. You don't want to chance it with any pinholes or anything there. So if after the flatting we still need to use some microfine filler just to get some of those holes, and we'll sort that out and make sure that it's as perfect as it can be, you know. That's the guide coat on. Guide coat's obviously just a little mist of any color really. You can use a bit of black, you can use a bit of green, bit of blue, a bit of red, whatever you decide. I mean, I had black here, so you can see there I've just misted it over. And obviously when I flat it down, you'll be able to see the high spots and the low spots. So yeah, having a look at it there now, you can't really tell that this chassis rail piece was joined over there, I think. Yeah, I think it was just in front of that. So, you know, that's a nice thing. Once you give it a coat of paint, and if it's been prepared properly, it really looks like it's one original piece. So yeah. And then obviously, like I said in previous videos, we put a brand new nose panel on, and once that's got a coat of green, it should be fine. But anyway, I'm going to call it a day for today. We're going to let this paint dry, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll tackle it and get this engine bay looking green again. What is up guys, it's the next day, back at the shop. I spent the morning sanding all this down, getting it ready for paint. I've wiped down the insides of the engine bay with wax and grease remover. So at this point now, it's all been sanded down, everything is ready to receive paint. Let me crack on with that, and we're going to get some green on this thing. Oh, I think it looks pretty good. I blended it down near this side, there and there. Obviously the brake booster and everything's going there. So I wasn't going to strip the wiring out and the rest of it when it gets covered by the brake booster, and the wiring runs down the chassis rail and that, so you won't really pick up a serious gloss difference there once we give everything a bit of a hand polish and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's going to look pretty good. But yeah, as you can see, the coat went on nice. No runs, yeah, should be good. What's up guys, I'm back at the shop. It's the next day. I spent the better part of the morning reassembling all the little nitty gritty stuff, the brake booster, the fuel lines, the brake lines, the little brackets for the air box, that sort of stuff down there, all those little bits on the back there, the wiring harness that runs along the firewall there, reconnected all the brake lines down that side over there, and so now as you can see I've got the engine placed under the lift here, so I'm going to drop the car on the lift and obviously get the engine up in the bay, and then I'll just use a jack to maneuver the engine into the correct place. Okay guys, after a bit of sickling and manhandling this thing in, I've got the two side bolts in. That one's threaded, that one's not. I can't get the angle right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rear engine mounting on, and that'll obviously then level off the motor, and then it should make my life a little bit easier to put this bolt in, because then the mounting's not cocked in the housing. So yeah, anyway, the engine's in. I can get rid of this gearbox hanger and whatnot, and start plumbing everything up, get the engine fired up, and then we can get the car outside and actually give it the engine a bit of a clean. So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna put the rear mounting in, get all the mountings tightened up, and we'll carry on with the rest of the stuff then. So yeah, here goes. Hey guys, it's the next day, back at the workshop. In the previous clip you saw me putting the engine in. I just connected up all the auxiliaries, the wiring, the clutch cable, accelerator cable, put the battery in, and when you turn the key now, it starts and drives. So it's going to make my life a lot easier now that it's actually running. So yeah, when you come around to this side of the car, there's also again a couple of small dings, and then this door I'm going to replace. If you look at it, let me open it up and show you. Clearly when the car was crashed, the driver probably wasn't bolted in and he hit the inside frame, and you can see there, obviously when he hit it, it broke the glass because it's bowed the frame. If you look at it from the top, you can see it's quite severely bent. So yeah, but I still need to put the dash surround back, but you can have a look at this. Let me just make sure it's not in gear. There's no exhaust on the car, so it is quite loud. One of the studs broke in the manifold, so that's got to be replaced before I can actually mount the exhaust and finish that up. What's up guys, back at the workshop. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, I've been recouping, getting off the crutches mainly, so yeah, Doc's given me permission to waddle around. So in the interim I've been sanding this car and prepping it for paint. So as you can see here, I've taped it all up and sanded down all the filler work on the doors here, and then also on the rear fender, got everything sanded down here. If you have a look inside, I've prepped this area here where the new fender was welded to the old inner boot valance, so that's going to get some primer now. And then where I joined everything here, a little bit of filler work down there to get that all straight. And then on this side of the car, it's really just some parking lot dings on the door here. So no major bodywork there. Obviously a light skim of filler. There was a dent here and another bigger one here. So there, and then there was clear coat peeling here. So sorted that out. And yeah, for the most part, there was one or two small dents on the bonnet at the back here, as well as obviously this was a second-hand bonnet, so whoever was working with this thing previously was just pushing it. Instead of dropping the bonnet, they were obviously pressing on it here and pushed a little dent in here when they were trying to close it. What I've decided to do is I'm going to do the majority of the other prep work. Once the rest of the car is sanded and all that stuff is sorted, then I'll just quickly pop the two screens, weld a plate in there, a little bit of body filler, and then airbrush the primer in, and that way I don't sit with a massive dirty water puddles inside the car. So yeah, And then, yeah, once that's all sorted, then we'll shoot down to the spray booth and get this thing covered in green and clear. So yeah, that's the plan now. But now I'm going to shoot some primer on here and yeah, I'll get this thing further down the road to getting sprayed. So anyway, here goes. Hey guys, as you can see here, I've got the guide coat on, so I'm going to call it a day here, and I'm also probably going to call this episode there. Paintwork and, or like I say, primer up to this point, and filler is all done. So the only thing left to still sort out is, like I said, is the front bumper. That's got to be plastic welded and then prepped. I've still got to do the 2 rust spots, but once all this is flat and everything's looking good, I'll tackle those, and then once that's been filled in and primered, I'll pull all the windows, the mirrors off the doors, and then we'll get the car down to the spray booth. I'll obviously go buy 2 brand new fenders, so that'll just be flat and spray, and we're looking good from there. So yeah, the 3 other rims had to go off to the mag repair shop and be straightened. One of them had like quite severe chunks like taken out of the lip. I think they must have hit a curb or a severe pothole or something like that, and the rims were quite badly damaged. But anyway, those have come back from being repaired and welded and straightened. I'm going to spray the rims here, probably while the car's away being sprayed at the booth. I'm not too perturbed spraying things like rims because they're quite small and you don't pick up as much dust as you do like spraying a roof or a bonnet, you know, all these big panels. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends if this is the sort of content you like. I'm hoping to get this thing up on the road soon. Obviously it's been a big delay with that car accident that I had, so yeah, it's probably been about 6 months now since the accident, so I'm only just starting to walk now, so it's really just hold everything on this build up. So you guys will notice there's been a few weeks without or sporadic videos or without videos, so I'm trying to get back into it, but I can only go as fast as the docs allow me. But anyway, like I said, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll catch you guys in the next video when this thing gets flat down and sent off to the spray booth. Cheers,